beautiful day outside. Well, it's been a beautiful week, really. If you're a duck, like lots of rain. It's been a pretty wet week this week in Ohio. When it ain't wet, it's still gray. I think we've seen the sun one day, and that was Monday. Hello folks, Jason Chrisman, JC's Bees, your Central Ohio beekeeper. Well, as I just stated, it's been a pretty gray, wet week here in Ohio. At least in Central Ohio. Hasn't been much activity in the bee yard, with the exception of Monday. I went over there to feed a couple of my nukes in the bee yard, and guess what? I found a mess. A couple of my hives, Stan and Sue to be exact, I forgot to take my feeding shim off of, and this is what I found when I went to check to see if they need any food. So you can see, by leaving that feeding shim on there, and leaving bees space to manage wasn't a good idea. It's very crucial that you act quickly or swiftly once the weather starts to warm on stronger colonies, because they're going to fill that extra space with comb, and it can get quite messy. Luckily I got to it in time, and it wasn't too bad to remove the extra comb from the box and get the feeding shim taken off of the hive. I was very pleased to see that there wasn't a single little speck of Hive Alive fondant left in the packet though. So that was very, very impressive to see, but at the same time I wasn't so impressed with my beekeeping skills when I popped that cover and seen that mess of comb. But anyway, it only took a few minutes to clean up. I got the rest of the colonies fed, and it just happened to be that Stan and Sue were strong enough that they were raising queen cells, so I had to make some splits that day. And I didn't get any footage of it, but we'll get back out to the bee yard here real soon. Hopefully next week the weather will be better. They're projecting 80s for the whole week, so it really looks like some great beekeeping weather next week. And I'd love to get you out there in the bee yard and show you what's going on. But this week what we're going to do is talk about some upcoming videos, and I want to share some products with you I got from Ceracell a couple weeks ago. Now, if you're not familiar with Ceracell, they are a New Zealand based beekeeping company with some great products. My only issue with Ceracell is getting their products here in the US. I know Blythewood Bee Supply, which I'll link below, has done a pretty good job at keeping the Ceracell top feeders stocked. It's my understanding that Blythewood is going to continue to distribute Ceracell's products. So if you're interested, go down in the video and check out Blythewood Beekeeping Supplies. So anyway, a couple weeks ago, the package finally came from Ceracell. It takes a couple weeks, you know, to get international shipping from New Zealand delivered to Central Ohio. And I've learned in the past to not always expect a nice looking box. I mean, when you see what I got, you're going to really be shocked. So a morning a couple weeks ago, I got a call from my postal carrier, said she's got a huge box in there, and I volunteered to go down and get it, and this is what I pick up. So here it is, folks. This is what international shipping looks like. Look at that, isn't that horrible? You can see, Ceracell, Bees for Life. Great company, has some great products, but man, the way this stuff gets beat up on the way over here is just ridiculous. This has been in shipping for about 2 weeks now. So I'm anxious to get it tore open, but with all this rain, I don't see it happening right now because I'd rather do it outside. So I think I'll put it on the porch for now, and we'll open it once the rain quits. So you can see the box looks awful. I mean, it doesn't look like anything in the box should still be intact. But you know, after going through the box and assessing what I have, I'm only truly missing one little cone, and that's for a bee skateboard. Other than that, everything is there. And I know in the video I mentioned that I might be missing a frame or a part of a frame, but that wasn't the case. I did end up finding it. So let's see what's in the box, and you'll understand what I mean when I talk about this frame. Okay, so we got a couple minutes with the break here in the rain. Ladybug had to go potty, so I thought, what the heck, let's run this out real quick and open it up. So I showed you how the box came, but it was shipped internationally. What can I do? We will see. The funny part about it is look, they've got fragile all the way around the box. Do you think if this is truly fragile, it would be in good shape? Let's see. Now, if you haven't had any experience with any Ceracell beekeeping equipment, I gotta say, in my opinion, it's top notch. I was one of the people that introduced the Ceracell top feeder a few years back, and that's done pretty well here in the United States as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I see a lot of people using it. So let's see here what we got. Don't pay any attention to my dirty clothes, or got hay all over them from feeding the cows. Looks like we got a beekeeping suit from Ceracell. Okay, so I thought we'd take a quick look at the Ceracell beekeeping suit. This is a full suit, and I want to say that this material is very heavy. It's got the Ceracell beekeeping logo on it and their colors. Really like the logo, it looks nice on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slip my shoes off and slide this on real quick, and we will see how well it fits. So probably get my first little bit of dirt on it actually. Okay, so we've got elastic around the ankles. It's really loose though, I'm not sure about that. And we've got a foot strap to put your foot through. Another foot strap, how to keep it from riding up on you. Let me slide my shoes back on here. Now we will stand up and see how well it fits. Really easy to get on, I like that. Move the microphone here where we're not zipping it up inside of the suit. Got a nice elastic here around the wrists. Could be a little tighter on me. See, it's got quite a bit of play there. It just stays open. Not a big fan of that, but I guess they're probably allowing room for gloves. We've got our elastic for our thumbs to go through. And our veil. Zips up on both sides. Here I'm gonna have to move the microphone again. It's like what I call the three-way zipper. You got the one going up and down the middle of your coat, two come together, and the Velcro that goes down over your zippers to secure and make sure bees aren't getting in. I tell you, I really like the veil, how well it pushes out away from my face. Especially here on the sides, that's nice. So you can see, it fits pretty well. Got a little room here. That's the thing, you know, when you're dealing with other measurements and clothing. I had to convert all of my American measurements over for New Zealand to send this to me, and it's a little bit hectic to do, and still when you get it, it's not exactly what you would want. But I can still see how this would work very well, and I will use it if I have an aggressive hive. For the most part though, I don't wear full suits. I'm a vented jacket guy if I need protection, but most of the time I just wear my veil. So that's just me though. If you're not comfortable around bees, something like this would be just perfect. The only problem is it's going to get hot real quick on a 90-degree day, and you've got this on. So anyway, huge shout out to Ceracell for the nice beekeeping suit. We got some screws for probably these, which I will explain each of these items one by one. Just kind of wanted to get out here and see what was in the box. But here's what these look like. Got these little tabs on the top that flip up. Any idea what that is? Okay, so the beast blocker. I'll give you a brief idea on how this works here. First of all, I do want to point out that this is adjustable. Basically, you cut it to the length of the entrance of your hive. I've got the entrance reducer removed, as you can see, and I did have to cut a little bit off of each end to make it fit in there. And actually, it's got lines here. There's one there and one there, and that's supposed to be for an 8-frame colony. I don't run 8-frame colonies, so I don't know how well that works, but for a 10-frame colony with a bottom board like this, I still had to cut a little bit off. At any rate, you'll take the screws provided and attach this to your hive via the holes that you see here. And then, after you get it attached, these will be your entrances for your bees. As you can see here, you can see the entrance of the colony through here. The smells of the colony are going to come pouring out that vent. And any robber is going to land here on the bottom board and smell that. And they're going to be like, why can't I get in? They're not going to comprehend the fact that they have to go up and over and down in to get inside the colony. So that's the basic idea behind the beast blocker. And I will be trying these out this year to see how well they work. So stay tuned to see how well they do. If you've had bees in the past, you know robbing can be a serious issue when there is no nectar flow. So this could be a huge tool when it comes to that time. And here I've got their bee escape, these work wonderful for removing bees from the honey supers. I'm going to set them back here and stack them up. These are the nozzles that reduce the openings as the bees transition up through these holes that you can see here on the bottom, these square holes right in here. There, I think you can see it through the cardboard, with the cardboard in the back. So I've already got videos with these in use. These work very, very well. Glad to have more of them though, Ceracell. Appreciate it. Okay, so what we have here is one of the Ceracell bee escapes. Now, what this would be used for is when you're getting ready to harvest honey. You would lift up your honey supers and put this in between the brood boxes and the honey supers. And what we're going to do real quick is I'm going to show you how these go on the escape. So you would flip it upside down so that you've got the word Ceracell facing up towards you. I don't believe Ceracell's wrote on the top. No, it is not. So this here needs to be facing up towards you. And then we're going to take and we're going to stick these nozzles or cones into these square holes which are down here. So to show you how these go, you can see they've got teeth on the back, so they snap in, and you're just simply going to snap each one of these nozzles into each square hole. Now they do take a little force to get them in. One thing I really like about Ceracell's products is that they use food grade plastic, but not only that, it's virgin plastic. That means it's never been recycled. It's brand new stuff. Brand new stuff. So you can see how those go in there. Let me go ahead and flip it around and we will do the other side real quick. So we've got to tear these off. And we can discard the little tree. And we'll snap these in the bottom, or the other side. They actually snap in kind of hard. But I guess that's a good thing. It means they won't fall out. So that's what it looks like now that they've all been installed. So the way this would work is, like I said, you would lift up your honey supers. They are now full of honey. You're ready to harvest. You would lift them up. You would slide this in, put your honey supers back on here. The bees will slowly start to rejoin the brood box. And when they do, they're going to have to go out through these cones and come out the underside, in which they will come out here through the narrow tip of the cone and back into the brood box. Well, the way it works is, with the smaller end being out here where they escape and come back into the brood box, they're not able to find their way back in to get back up into your super. So the more bees that flush down into your brood box, which is typically happens overnight, the bees will flush away from your honey and you're able to harvest it. And they're not able to get back up here to get back up into the supers. So this can be a very, very handy tool for removing the honey supers. I do want to mention that you see these little prongs here sticking up. This is so that your supers will latch on. And that's one of the things that actually broke on this corner during shipping. I seen the little black tab floating around in the box, but I wasn't sure where it went. Now I know that little tab went on here. But anyway, very handy device. If you're in need of a way to remove your honey supers very easily, check out the Ceracell Beekeeping. Very, very glad to have more of these, folks. Very handy device. Here we've got some cardboard tubes, which we will set back here. There's 4 of these tubes. And we've got a new product from Ceracell. This is their round comb frames. You can see they're actually got ears on the ends of them. So I'll be experimenting with these. I'm going to go ahead and take them out of the box because, as you can see, the box isn't much account at this point. So what I will do is set it on the table. We'll get rid of the box. We'll be able to see what we got a little bit better. And I will store the frames in an empty deep until I'm ready to use them. So it looks like I've got 10 frames there, or maybe 9.5, because that's all that's in the box now, besides 2 packs of screws. But, you know, with a hole in the corner like that, who's to say one couldn't have slid out? Box is empty. And now we'll look in the tubes. In the tubes we have clear cases. So I imagine in one of these, okay, it looks like they're all the same. Yes. So the way it would work is once you get this full of honey in this circle, you would pop that out, and these would be your lids to put on each side so you could label it and sell it. So that'll be pretty cool to experiment. Let's take one of these here, take a closer look at how it's made on the top. It's very similar to the Ross round setup. It actually may be the same as dimensions as the Ross round. And then you've got these fancy frame ends that hold everything together. It's pretty unique. It actually says designed by Thomas Clow and Alan Myers. Thomas Clow is the owner of Ceracell Beekeeping. They make a lot of great products, folks. I can't say enough about them. The issue for us here in the United States is getting them. I mentioned the Ceracell Top Hive feeder. that sold very well from all the people I seen sharing them on different social media sites. The problem was getting them. They did have a few distributors here in the United States, but there wasn't much more than a handful of them. So that being said, getting their products can be a little troublesome. So hopefully some other people will start carrying their supplies and they'll be a little easier to get to. So what I'm going to do is pick all this stuff up before the next rain shower comes in. But as the season progresses and we get into making a little honey, we'll try out these frames. Obviously, the bee suit going to be very handy. These going to be very fun to play with and experiment with come the time when there is not much of a nectar flow. These bee skateboards, they work very well. Like I said, I've already experimented with them. If you would like to see my past video on these, I'll link it up in the corner so you can check it out. All right, Ladybug, we better get this stuff picked up, honey. I know it's not done raining. I was just so excited. I couldn't wait to open it. I know, that's probably bad, Ladybug. So all of the products that you've seen that were delivered from Ceracell will be put to use this beekeeping season. So continue to follow along to see how each of these products work out. Now these double-decker round comb frames, I plan to put to use, I have a specific plan just for them. Are you familiar with Hoover hives? I have a Hoover hive, and I really like how well the box is holding up out in the weather conditions. And that's because the box is coated in wax. And I love the look of the box. If you remember, I took that same box, the Hoover hive box, and added it to my Apamay wooden hive kit. And it looks something like this now. It was just last weekend I installed a 3-pound package of bees in this colony. So what I did this week was I reached out to Galena Farms, distributor of Hoover hives, and I asked if they'd be interested in donating a deep hive body for an upcoming video project. And they gladly accepted the offer. And it should be getting delivered either today or tomorrow. So the plan is to add these double-decker round comb frames to the Hoover hive box, and that will be the second box that I put on my Apamay colony. So it'll be the Apamay bottom board. I've got a Hoover hive on the bottom, which will be the brood chamber. Then I'll throw on a queen excluder, and I'll put on these double-decker round comb frames and an additional Hoover hive body. So I think it's going to be a real interesting video, and I think the hive's going to look totally awesome with the 2 Hoover hive bodies and the Apamay setup. So we've got Apamay, Ceracell, Hoover hives, Galena Farms, all coming together for this one setup. So I think that'll be rather interesting to see how the bees do with it. And hey, maybe I'll get some round comb to sell. So if that's something you're interested in seeing, make sure you continue to follow along. And if you haven't subscribed, this would be a great time to do so. Go down and click the subscribe button and make sure you click on the little bell so you can get notified when I release new videos. If you have any questions or comments about any of the products that were sent to me from Ceracell, feel free to leave them down in the comments section. I'll do my best to answer them with the knowledge I have now. Of course, I will have more knowledge on these products as I begin to use them, and the weather begins to cooperate a little bit more for me to use them. So, like I said, any questions about them, leave it down below and I'll do my best to answer it for you. And like I said, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to smash that like button. Be much appreciated. And if you haven't subscribed, it'd be a great time to do that. Pushing any of these buttons will give you warm, fuzzy feelings the rest of the day. Anyway, folks, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this week's video. And we'll see you next week, hopefully out in the bee yard. Happy beekeeping. We'll see you next week, folks. Thanks for watching. JC's Bees.